Hi guys, it's Finn. I wanted to make a video about something that I was talking about in my 3-month update, but it was going on a bit too long. And there were a couple of things I was talking about, like the middle-aged man kind of concept, and this thing, that I thought warranted their own vid. So yeah, this is, I kind of want to talk about the idea of a biological dysphoria. This is something I've been thinking about a lot. I think it was Dr. Dean that said something to me that made me kind of start thinking about this, because I was talking about how, in a very profound way, from my very first shot of libido, that I had this experience of something inside me just going click. It was just like everything kind of went into the right gear. You know when you've got a bike and you're cycling and your gears are just clicking all the time. It runs okay, it changes gear okay, there's not a problem. And no matter how much you tweak the gear cables and tweak everything else, you still get this kind of clicking going on. But it doesn't interfere with the ride, so you just kind of almost forget about it and get on with it. And now, in hindsight, that's almost how my inside body has felt. It's like, it is literally like, everything's just gone click into the right gear and is catching internally in such a wonderful way. It's really, really difficult to explain. But yeah, I just wonder about this whole idea of internally being dysphoric. Because, you know, I experienced dysphoria in terms of how my voice was. When my voice was very high, I had very dysphoric feelings about that, because in my head, my gender is male, and yet my voice would come out and it would sound female, and I was dysphoric about that. Obviously dysphoric about parts of my body that have grown in ways that are more seen on females than males. So that incongruence between the gender I feel and the way my body is and my voice is, my presentation is my external dysphoria. But the way things have happened, especially over the last kind of like 6 to 8 weeks, is I suffer from extreme anxiety. Extreme anxiety. It's a lot better than it once was, but it's still very, very difficult for me to socialise. And my anxiety is such that it can be just nothing. I can just be sat somewhere and I'll just get a wave of anxiety. I'll go through phases where it's like that, and I just am quite crippled in what I can do during my day. It can be really hard for me to get out. And although that's got better, it's always there in the background. It's kind of like an electric static hum going on all the time. And then when I have to kind of meet up with people, it will increase. I have to do something, I have to increase, you know. But I've really, really noticed a dramatic drop in how it's been over this last 6 to 8 weeks. I find myself in situations where I'm talking to people and I suddenly go, where's my anxiety? It's just not there. I mean, what I was talking about in my 15-week update that I've just posted, meeting up with guys that a year ago I was in exactly the same position with them, and yet I was so different. You know, I didn't have that kind of noise in my head going, oh, we've got to say this thing, don't say that thing, and all that kind of anxiety, kind of clenched up ness just wasn't there. And I had this general kind of like lack of care for stuff that's so nice. I'm so stressed and het up most of the time about making sure things are done properly. I always start worrying days in advance about something and making lists and all of this. And I have got so much more of this kind of like attitude about stuff, which is amazing. And now, yes, of course, it could just be that I'm going through a period of time where my anxiety is lower. But this feels like much, much more than that. It's like something inside me has taken a kind of deep breath and a big sigh of relief internally. And I've been thinking about this, and it kind of makes sense, because my gender is male, it's always been male. But the way my body developed was that it started producing estrogen instead of testosterone. So if you think about this going on in my head, if how I feel is male, and yet my body is doing things that females do, it would make sense that I would develop stuff like anxiety and depression and low mood and a tendency to kind of go to like negative coping mechanisms like drinking, taking drugs and all of that. Because if you've not got the right fuel in the car, it's not going to run properly, is it? And this kind of makes complete sense now, thinking about it, but I hadn't really seen it like that until just kind of like just before my 3-month update, when I was just noticing myself so different around people, that maybe there is this internal dysphoria going on, that my body can't kind of kick into the right gear, because for me to try and be who I am in the world, I can't be, because I didn't have the biological makeup to be the real me. The real me is male, testosterone fueled man, and it's like I kept trying to be that, and I was the bike that was stalling, because all the time. Internal dysphoria. Am I making sense? I don't know. I mean, I'm going to do a little bit of research around this, because I wonder if there's stuff written about this, because I mean, I'm going to make a long vid at some point about anxiety and about all the stuff I've learnt around it, because I know a lot of guys have trouble with it as well, and I think it's good to share these things and share how we've kind of like dealt with it over the years. I don't know, and I never will know, if it's all down to me being trans that I have these issues, and it might well be, but over the years, you know, you add problems to them, so I don't really think that just taking hormones is going to change everything overnight. My mental health is going to be brilliant, and my anxiety is going to completely disappear, all of that. I'm 39 years of age. I've been kind of coping with my mental health in negative ways for years, up until like the last 3 years. So there's a lot of that to undo and recover from, and a lot of mopping up to do of all of those things. But it does feel so far that it's being helped dramatically just by the introduction of testosterone into my body. So yeah, I do wonder if a lot of it was to do with that internal dysphoria, that my body just couldn't click into gear properly, because it was going, oh yes, you're a man, we'll do this, and my body would be like, wrong gear, and now it's got testosterone, it's like, right gear, brilliant. Because I'm not looking that dramatically different. You know, it's not like anything dramatically has really changed externally. Okay, my voice is lowered, and that's helping. But other than that, the comfortability I feel, the lower anxiety I feel, the more level I feel, I think is really down to the hormones. Because, yeah, you could say it was a boost of confidence, but it's over 3 months now since I had that jab, and that boost of confidence would have kind of lessened by now, because whenever you get a new change you get that woohoo feeling, and then it kind of lessens, and it would have lessened by now. So I do think it's more to do with the fact that I've got the right juice in my body, and it just feels wonderful at the moment. I'm just feeling like I really just want to get out there and meet people. I am in dire need of more trans friends. I've got some amazing friends online, and what I really need to do is get brave and meet people in the real world, and I'm making a start with that this weekend. I'm off down to Trans Pride, and I'm meeting up with Will, and I'm staying at his house, and that's a big deal for me, a big deal to do something like that. But I need to do more of it, because how I was talking about trans rites of passage, I see that now, that in coming to terms with my past and kind of really sinking into the new me that is me now, I need to go through these rites of passage, I think, and the only way I can do them is with other trans guys who are also going through their own journey, and people who are in the kind of similar stages of me are great to hang around with, because Will's just started testosterone as well, so we can do our rites of passage together, you know, discussing our first hair and, you know, our voice dropping and all of those kind of rites of passage that I think I'm cutting myself off from by not being brave enough to get out there and meet new people. You know, I need to keep reminding myself to get out of my comfort zone. But yeah, I just wanted to share it really, because I just wondered if anyone else has experienced this feeling of just like something internally that you really can't explain, but you can just feel that definite clunk, right gear, and this idea that a biological dysphoria would be right, because your body would be like, ew, what are you doing? Estrogen, I'm not a girl. So that would make sense that would be happening inside, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? I don't know. Is it just one of Finn's random thoughts? I'm not sure. Let me know. Right, if anyone is heading down to Trans Pride, get in touch with me and let me know. Yeah, because I'm going to be there's no march now, which is really unfortunate, but there's Trans Pride event in New Stain Gardens on the Saturday, and then there's a beach party thing on the Sunday, so I'm staying with Will on the Saturday night, so I should be there Saturday and Sunday, so it'd be really nice to meet people, and you'll know now that I'm nervous, but that's alright. if you say it, you take the power out of it. That's what I've learned. And the only way you can do it is face it. Feel the fear and do it anyway. I'm going to stop now before I start quoting some random cheesy stuff. Right, take care of yourselves, everybody. Please drop me a message and let me know that any of that made sense in some way. Take care of yourselves. Might see you in Brighton. If not, see you next week. Bye bye.